Welcome to the Midlife Edit, the podcast for women who are navigating the beautiful, messy, and sometimes sweaty journey of midlife. This isn't about a crisis, it's about an awakening. Join me, your host, Jen Weinstein, as I dive into all the things no one warned us about: hot flashes, brain fog, strength training, hormone balancing, and figuring out who the hell we are now. With a mix of expert insights, real talk, and a little humor, because if we're not laughing, we're crying, right? The Midlife Edit is your go-to space for embracing this season with confidence, strength, and balance. Whether you're trying to lift heavier, sleep better, set stronger boundaries, or just remember why you walked into a room, this podcast is here to remind you: midlife is not the end, it's just an edit, and you get to rewrite it your way. Hit subscribe and let's tackle midlife together, one episode at a time. This is the Midlife Edit. Let's make it a damn good chapter. Hey friends, and welcome back to the Midlife Edit. If you've been listening the last few weeks, you know I've had on some incredible guests. Alivia shared her powerful story about making changes in her life, not because she thought anything was wrong with her, but because she wanted to feel better in her own body. That was such a refreshing and honest perspective and conversation. And then I had Louisa, who is basically redefining what it means to reinvent yourself in midlife. She's setting land speed records on a motorcycle at almost 60 years old while also being a grandmother. Talk about breaking stereotypes. And then most recently, Tamar reminded us of the joy and meaning that can come from something as simple and as profound as birthdays. She showed us that celebrating ourselves is not frivolous, it's powerful. These conversations have been so inspiring, and honestly, they've made me think a lot about the idea of change. You know, we are back to school. Fall, favorite time of year is coming. It's getting darker earlier. Seasons are shifting. And let's be real, so are we. Which brings me to today's solo episode. Yep, just me today. Because listen, if there's one thing that midlife is really about, it's the opportunity to rebrand, to refresh, to decide who we are right now and who we want to be moving forward. So today I'm going to talk about rebranding your midlife identity, from mom jeans to main character energy. Because I say it all the time, midlife isn't a crisis. It's an edit, but it's also basically a rebrand. And if Duncan can drop the donuts, then you and I can absolutely drop the stuff that no longer fits who we are. So you know that moment where you look around and you realize what got me here isn't going to take me to where I want to go? It's basically midlife in a nutshell. In our 20s and 30s, it was about hustling or raising kids or building careers, just checking off the boxes that you thought you were supposed to. But midlife hits, and suddenly it's like, whoa, wait a second. Whose script have I been following? Because I think I'm ready to rewrite it. I'm ready to rewrite, direct, produce, redo the whole thing, right? And here's the magic of midlife. We finally stop caring as much about what other people think. I will say as much. Sure, I'm not going to lie, I do still care about what other people think, but not nearly as much as I did in my 20s and 30s. For me, it's less about approval and more about alignment. Alignment with how I feel, how I want to feel, who I want to spend time with, and yes, what I want to wear to Target. Because listen, if I'm strutting down the cleaning supply aisle in sneakers and a messy bun, you better believe I am main charactering the hell out of that moment. But here's the thing. I've actually been rebranding my whole life. But if I'm being honest, most of those rebrands, they weren't really for me. You know, I'm always honest and real in this podcast, and this is just another time where I'm going to talk about it. I rebranded to fit the narrative of whoever I was dating. If he was into country music, suddenly I had cowboy boots. If he liked indie bands, guess who could belt out every lyric? But I also rebranded to match the people I surrounded myself with. If the crowd was into bottomless mimosas and endless Target runs, I was there with bells on. And then, of course, I rebranded for the trends. The god awful low rise jeans, those chunky highlights like Kelly Clarkson had in the first season of American Idol, the diet of the moment, you know, low fat, keto, South Beach, whatever it was, I did it. I wasn't asking what I wanted. I was asking, how do I fit in or how do I keep up? But here's what shifts in midlife. The rebrand isn't for anyone else anymore. It's not for my partner or a friend or a friend group. It's not to stay on trend. It's for me. And honestly, that's the heart of a midlife rebrand. It's not about being a supporting character in somebody else's story. It's about stepping into your own. Gonna use the term again, that main character energy. Okay, so let's play a little game. Here are a few signs you might be due for a midlife rebrand. Number 1, you've owned the same pair of jeans since 2002 and they scream low-rise regret. 2, your playlist still has that one breakup song from your early 20s, and honestly, you don't even remember the guy's last name. 3, you find yourself saying yes to things you secretly dread. Committee meetings, networking mixers, brunch with that one friend who only ever complains or just talks about herself the whole time and doesn't ask you how you are. Or how about 4, your daily wardrobe is whatever's clean, not what makes you feel good. Now be honest. How many of those did you check off? I know some of you just nodded in your car. DM me or tag me in a story because I love hearing these. Your signs of a rebrand usually come with the funniest stories. I want to hear all about them. If you don't want to post them on social media, shoot me an email. Go in my, DMs. Okay, so yeah, Jen, that's me. How do I actually rebrand myself without throwing out everything and starting over? Well, here's what I think about it. First, maybe a wardrobe glow up. This isn't about chasing every new trend. Fast fashion is not only bad for our wallets, it's bad for the environment. And honestly, are you ever going to wear those god awful barrel jeans that you just bought from an Instagram ad? It's about wearing clothes that feel like your vibe right now. Maybe that's joggers and a hoodie. Maybe it's wide leg trousers. Maybe it's both, depending on the day. My tip? Clean out one drawer or one section of your closet and ask, do I feel like the main character in this? If the answer is no, let it go. Something that I've done lately, what about a fitness rebrand? Okay, I'm going to do it. Let's talk CrossFit. I know. It gets a bad rap. People think it's too intense, too extreme, too cult-like. But here's the truth. For me, CrossFit hasn't been about punishing myself or competing with anybody else. It's been about discovering strength that I didn't know I had. I still remember my first class. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. 6:30 in the morning. I walked in and I was thinking, what the hell am I doing here? These people, these women, are superheroes. But then I did it. I did the workout. I didn't crush it by any means, but I finished. And you know what? People cheered. My coach got a picture with me. They didn't care how fast I was or how much I lifted. They just cared that I showed up. That's my real rebrand. Strength, confidence, community. It's realizing that you're capable of so much more than you think and doing it with people who celebrate you in the process. A little off topic here, but the other day when I was at CrossFit, I was talking to a few women and the topic made me really sad because there was a woman whose family didn't support her new fitness journey. They didn't support her getting healthier or losing weight or finding a community. They just wanted her home, And 3 hours a week, 4 hours a week, if you don't have somebody in your life that supports you doing something so selfless as working on your health and well-being, you're not supposed to. Okay, how about a mindset shift? This one's simple, right? Romanticize your everyday. Your morning coffee? Main character moment. Hitting a new PR at the gym? Main character montage. A walk outside with your favorite podcast? Yep, that's your main character energy. Picture yourself in that mood. You're listening to your podcast, you're walking down the street in your neighborhood, and just picture yourself like Snow White when all the animals come out in the cartoon. That's your own main character. What about a social rebrand? This one might be the hardest, honestly, because midlife means choosing who gets your energy and who doesn't. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table, and saying no can actually be the most freeing kind of rebrand. And then what about a career rebrand? I've talked about this a few times, but let's talk about it again because this one's huge. Midlife is when so many of us start questioning our careers. Maybe that job that once looked like success now feels like it's draining the life out of you. Maybe you've been climbing the ladder only to realize the ladder is leaning on the wrong wall. Maybe you've been a stay-at-home mom since you've been married, and now you're an empty nester and you want to do something for you. This is where the rebrand comes in. It's not too late to pivot, to start over, to try something that actually lights you up. You don't need to stick with a career just because it made sense in your 20s. Main character energy in your career might mean starting that side hustle, asking for that promotion you know you deserve, or even walking away from a job that no longer fits. Because the truth is, the main character doesn't just stay stuck in the background of somebody else's story. She steps into the spotlight, even if it means rewriting the script. And listen, your rebrand doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it's supposed to be messy. You can try bangs and then decide they were a mistake. You can buy the expensive serum that's supposed to get rid of the neck wrinkles and then realize Vaseline works just fine. You can do the kale chips thing and then admit that they taste like sadness and dust. It's not about getting it all right. It's about experimenting, editing, and amplifying the parts of you that feel real. That's the rebrand that sticks. And that's really the heart of all of this main character energy. Main character energy is saying, I get to decide what this next chapter looks like. It's walking into a room like you belong there. Because guess what? You do. It's no longer shrinking yourself or editing yourself to fit somebody else's expectations. It's realizing that this is your movie, your story, and everyone else, they're a supporting role. So here's a takeaway today. You don't need permission to rebrand. Midlife is the perfect time to decide who you are, what you stand for, and how you want to show up. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't hide it. Become that truest version of yourself so that when you're on your deathbed in 40, 50, 60 years, you don't lay there regretting not doing it. You don't lay there and think, man, I should have just done this in my 40s or 50s or 60s. Whether that's with a new playlist, a new pair of jeans, a career pivot, or just stronger boundaries, own that shit. Step into that main character energy and start showing up like the star of your own story. And hey, speaking of rebrands, I've been working on something fun behind the scenes. Let's just say Midlife Rebrand collection of goodies will be dropping soon. Keys, mugs, stickers, all the essentials. Stay tuned because you're going to be the first one to know when it goes live. But listen, all that aside, say it all the time. So thankful for this platform. I'm so thankful for you listeners out there who maybe have never said anything and just like to listen, or who have shot me an email or dropped into my DMs. Like, share, subscribe to this podcast. If you could just do those few things, it means the world to me. Join the Midlife Insiders group on Facebook. I don't post there as much as I'd like to, and that's something that maybe I can start with my next rebranding, but it's a community. You're going to be the first to know about everything. And if you think that somebody in your life needs a rebrand, please share this with them. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, go live your rebrand. And don't forget, midlife isn't a crisis. It's an edit. Let's make it a damn good chapter. We'll see you next week.